Helldivers 2 is the new addiction for many. For some of the people out there, it's the new alternative for Risk of Rain 2, maybe a new kind of co-op experience that people felt when playing Lethal Company with their friends. But for me, it is the perfect Warhammer 40k or Star Wars Clone Wars game that I always longed for. I customize my loadout, select one of the planets that are invaded either by robots or bugs, and pretend that I fight against the Necrons or the Tyranids of Warhammer 40k universe, as a poor yet brave Imperial Guard soldier, or against the Trade Federation droids and the Geonosian army in Star Wars' case. Helldivers 2 is crazy, sometimes really challenging and frustrating, but it's quite fun, especially when you're playing it with your friends or with random people trying not to kill each other or by yourself. As it captivates with its intoxicating blend of cooperative play and relentless action, embodying the quintessential just one more mission allure. I'm Arcadenaut here, and today I will talk about this Vietnam in space experience. Helldivers 2 is an exhilarating sequel that traces the original's top-down perspective for a more immersive third-person viewpoint, as this change not only refreshes the gameplay, but also pays homage to the classics like Starship Troopers and as well as Lost Planet 2. Delivering a co-op experience that is exhilarating as it is chaotic. Set against the backdrop of a satirical intergalactic war, you embody as one of the Helldivers, elite soldiers battling against the formidable Terminids and robotic adversaries across various planets. Although we are one of these elite soldiers of the Super Earth, we are just human, not a super soldier like Warhammer 40k Space Marines or something like that. Your limbs get crushed, you will be slaughtered by the enemies of humanity, and of course you will suffer horrible pain trying to eradicate both of these hordes of galactic bugs and Terminator robots. All you need to do is to pick a planet that is under the rule of robots or bugs, pick one of the difficulty options and missions that are either destroying a specific amount of enemies within time limit, launching maybe IBM missile to your enemies, or maybe destroying bug eggs and nests. It is mostly up to you here. Just customize your loadout and then enter your hell pod for extraction to join the fun. As I mentioned, the missions are diverse, ranging from destroying bug nests to launching missiles, each punctuated by a timer that injects urgency into every task. And in return, you receive experience points, money, and medals for further customizations that are accessible through Battle Pass kind of a concept, with one of them free and one of them as premium. To be honest, Helldivers 2 doesn't feel pay to win with its premium Battle Pass, as you can discover and collect in-game currency within the maps if you explore points of interest around or just do side missions. The promise of extra XP, money and medals for completing these side missions adds layers of strategic depth, encouraging players to balance risk with reward. As a total online experience, the maps of Helldivers 2 change depending on the performance of its players and of course depending on the developers, meaning that hundreds of thousands of players can liberate the planets one by one, while the developers add a new event that shifts the balance of Helldivers 2's maps. This flow, or rather straightforward objective, underscores the game's emphasis on action over narrative, pushing players into the heat of a battle with their own customized Helldiver. As Helldivers 2 enhances its predecessor's tactical gameplay by transitioning to a third-person perspective, it makes your every dodge, every strategic decision quite impactful, simply offering more than just visual engagement. And of course, each and every planet has its own environmental changes, such as harsh weather conditions and treacherous terrains, as some of the planets can also interfere with your stratagem locations, leading to your own uncalculated miseries, ensuring that every mission is a unique and memorable experience. And I think this is the true beauty of Helldivers 2. It lies in its unpredictability. You may have your sentries, incendiary shotguns, or even have the most beneficial airstrike pods equipped and mentally ready for what's about to hit you, but that might still not be enough. Helldivers 2 masterfully crafts scenarios where no plan is foolproof, leading to moments of sheer panic, laughter, and sometimes unexpected heroism. You may run out of ammunition and need a supply drop in the midst of a robot horde, or you may even be killed in action with your drones and best weapons equipped due to a miscalculated airstrike that is sent by your teammate. Yes, there is friendly fire implemented in Helldivers 2, and sometimes it is necessary to make the hardest decisions for you to accomplish your goals for the Super Earth. Needless to say, at its heart, Helldivers 2 is about strategic gameplay and the balance between overwhelming firepower and the fragility of its soldiers. The inclusion of friendly fire and the necessity for tactical positioning introduce a layer of complexity and realism that demands communication and coordination. Though this tactical gameplay never reaches to a point where the Arma series shines, Helldivers 2 successfully manages to stay between its own chaotic yet fun territory, and I believe this is where the game shines brightest. Amidst all of this chaos, where a single misstep can lead to a disaster, a well-timed stratagem can turn the tide in spectacular fashion, clearing all of your enemies, making you complete your goals as you start to head back to specific location for extraction. And the tension peaks at the extraction point, where players must withstand the final barrage of enemies, making survival not just a goal but a thrilling culmination of each mission's efforts. And of course, let's talk about Helldivers 2's combat and its life-saving feature, the stratagems. Helldivers 2 is packed with action, sometimes turning into survival, sometimes into more tactical, and sometimes even into run and gun experience, fit for the game's dynamic and responsive battle system. Sometimes you need to remain agile, leaping and dodging through the swarms of enemies and incoming hazards with precision, but sometimes you also need to act as a spatial trained team. However, the allure of Helldivers 2 lies not just in its action-packed third-person shooting gameplay, but also in its upgrade system and the strategic deployments of the stratagems. These stratagems, the game's unique support system, allow for a diverse range of tactical options, encouraging players to tailor their approach to each mission. As these spatial tools, whether it be machine gun sentries, calling down anti-material rifle, or maybe machine gun or airstrikes, they all require precise D-pad input sequences to activate, and they also range from resupply drops to devastating orbital strikes, adding a layer of tactical finesse to the combat. And let's say you make a single mistake in this input sequence, you get to start from the scratch amidst all of the chaos slowly surrounding you. These stratagems can be unlocked by leveling up your character and also by spending your hard-earned money. However, if you ever want to upgrade the type of your stratagems, like lowering their cooldowns or maybe making them even more impactful, then you gotta collect samples during your missions and then bring back to your base for further advanced developments. And as I mentioned before, through the acquired money, medals and samples, you also upgrade and widen your arsenal of weapons for the liberation of the galaxy. Although this rewarding progression system feels kinda slow, it also ensures that players are constantly working towards unlocking new stratagems, improving their weaponry and loadout. This, combined with the high stakes of collecting resources for upgrades in more challenging difficulties, they all ensure that Helldivers 2 remains engaging and rewarding, pushing players to refine their strategies and teamwork. However, as a side note, I really wish to see the developer team Arrowhead adding more threats to the galaxy, and if I were to be inspired by Warhammer 40k, I think I would just straight go for the orcs. They can be a mix between the bugs and the robots, using scraps of armors, laser and heavy weaponry to deal damage, and maybe charging towards the Helldivers. I really wish to see something like that added in the future, maybe like Eldar or Dark Eldar or maybe Forces of Chaos. I think I just want to have more Warhammer 40k inspired content. And as you might know, for the time being the connectivity and the matchmaking issues are experienced day after day, and it might be the best for those problems to be solved before jumping into the world of Helldivers. While these problems, of course, are expected to be addressed, they can be quite frustrating and might even discourage you from giving Helldivers 2 a chance and maybe diminish your Helldivers 2 hype and interest. Needless to say, my expectations from Helldivers 2 are quite high. They might start with a great launch and interest, and I hope they keep this experience this way. Helldivers 2 has chaotic action, lots of customization choices, planets to conquer, teams to build, and it also has cross-platform between PlayStation 5 and PC. It offers memorable moments, missions full of mischief with strategic depth, and definitely a must-play if you're into co-op experiences. With its engaging gameplay, dynamic combat, and community-oriented objectives, Helldivers 2 is a shining example of how to breathe new life into a franchise while also staying true to the elements that made it a classic. As Arrowhead continues to expand and evolve the game, the future of Helldivers 2 looks bright, promising even more exhilarating battles and strategic possibilities for its dedicated player base. As always, thank you for watching today's video. Any humble support through Patreon and YouTube join are really appreciated. I will see you soon in my next video. Stay tuned.